you for joining us on ERi-TV English News Broadcast, dear viewers, and do stay tuned as we bring on the latest updates from around the world and the country live from our headquarters in Asmara for today, Monday, 18th of November 2024. I'm Heaven Johans, your news anchor for this session. We shall first begin with the major headlines. President Isaias meets with Vice President of African Development Bank. Community-based conflict resolution initiatives. China and the US maintain dialogue. And Nigeria and India build a robust strategic partnership. In our domestic news, President Isaias Afwerki met with a delegation from the African Development Bank Group led by Vice President Ms. Nena Nwabufo at Adihalo this morning. The meeting focused on current status and future prospects of development cooperation between Eritrea and the African Development Bank. Discussions also covered priorities set by the government of Eritrea, including renewable energy projects and programs within the framework of the cooperation. The meeting was attended by Dr. Georgis Techle-Mikael, Minister of Finance and National Development, Mr. Hagos Gabrihiwet, Head of Economic Affairs of the PFDJ, and Mr. Nasreddin Mohamed Saleh, Minister of Trade and Industry. It is worth recalling that Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, President of the African Development Bank, had previously met with President Isaias Afwerki in Asmara in September 2024 and at the Korea-Africa Summit in Ulsan in June. Ms. Fawzia Hashim, Minister of Justice, held meetings with public representatives from 101 administrative areas in the northern Red Sea region on the 13th and 16th of November. At the meetings, which were held in Foro and Afabat, Minister Fawzia announced the establishment of community-based conflict resolution mechanisms. She emphasized that this initiative would significantly contribute to preserving noble societal values and enable citizens to receive legal services within their local areas, saving both time and resources. Participants noted that the program is part of the government's efforts to ensure social justice and commended the Ministry of Justice for taking this important step. Schools in the central region, including Ibrahim Sultan High School, Asmara School for the Deaf, Gunbot 24 Elementary and Junior School, and Beduho Junior School, have recognized and awarded outstanding students who excelled in the national examination for the 2023-2024 academic year. At these ceremonies, held on 15 and 17 November, heads of the education offices in the subzones attributed the students' outstanding performance to the coordinated efforts of students, parents, and teachers. They also called on parents to continue encouraging and conducting regular follow-ups on their children's educational progress. Mr. Belen Simon, Director of Ibrahim Sultan High School, urged the awardees to work even harder in their future studies and inspire their peers. For the first time, Asmara School for the Deaf awarded 14 outstanding students who scored high marks on the 8th grade national examination. This wraps our domestic news for this session, dear viewers. Time for the international ones after the short break. Welcome back. In a pivotal meeting on Saturday, Chinese President Xi Jinping and his U.S. counterpart, Joe Biden, reaffirmed their commitment to maintaining dialogue, fostering cooperation, and steering clear of conflict. In the meeting on Saturday, Chinese President Xi Jinping called on the U.S. side to have a correct strategic perception of China and treat each other as equals. China's goal of a stable, healthy, and sustainable China-U.S. relationship remains unchanged, the president said. adding that its commitment to mutual respect, peaceful coexistence and win-win cooperation as principles for handling China-US relations remains unchanged. President Biden, for his part, emphasized that the US-China relationship is the most important bilateral relationship in the world. The president further noted that the United States does not seek a new Cold War. It does not seek to change China's system. Its alliances are not targeted against China. It does not support Taiwan independence. It does not seek conflict with China, and it does not see its Taiwan policy as a way to compete with China. In the past 4 years, the two presidents have jointly brought China-US dialogue and cooperation back on track. More than 20 communication mechanisms have been restarted or established, and positive achievements have been made in such areas as diplomacy, security, economy, trade, fiscal affairs, finance, military, counter-narcotics, law enforcement, agriculture, climate change, and people-to-people exchange. On our last news. Nigeria and India agreed to build a robust strategic partnership, pledging to strengthen ties in key areas including economic development, defense, healthcare, and food security. During their meeting on Sunday in Abuja, Nigerian President Bola Tinubu and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who was on a 2-day state visit to the country, agreed to tighten collaboration in counter-terrorism, maritime security, and intelligence sharing. With growing threats in the Gulf of Guinea and the Indian Ocean, the two leaders agreed to coordinate actions to safeguard maritime trade routes and combat piracy, promising to continue regular naval exercises and joint anti-piracy operations in the Gulf of Guinea. The two countries called for zero tolerance to terrorism and expeditious finalization and adoption of the Comprehensive Convention on International Terrorism in the United Nations framework, as well as implementation of the UN General Assembly and the UN Security Council resolutions on countering terrorism and violent extremism, a joint statement issued at the end of the Indian Prime Minister's state visit read. This wraps our news for this session, dear viewers. Now a quick recap of the major headlines. President Isaias meets with Vice President African Development Bank. Community-based conflict resolution initiatives. The US and China maintain dialogue. And Nigeria and India built a robust strategic partnership. That's all from us for tonight, dear viewers, but thank you for joining us. Have a good night.